How's it going? This is Denton over here, and I got Bradicus right here with me. What we're going to be talking about today is how can you handle extreme depression? With me, I've been having a pretty hard month. I had 2 friends recently die and it really fucked me up. I also just recently broke with my girl because it came down to the point where I had to choose this or I had to choose her. I'm pretty fucked up. Do I look fucked up? Now, with me, I do a lot of little games with myself. I do a lot of little things that I can work with my brain to keep myself from falling into those kind of stuff, even push me to drive myself even harder. I can almost turn the depression into a fuel. So in this video, that's what we're gonna be talking about.
Karisma King just introduced me. We also did a video on my channel. You can check that out in the link in the description below. That was an amazing video. But in terms of depression, guys, I've been in states of my life where I was like depressed for very long periods of time. Now, especially like before I was meeting any women, I would find the reason why I was not meeting any women is because I was depressed and I was letting that take control of my life. So when I was really depressed, I find something would trigger, like a breakup with someone I was really in love with, or I said I was really in love with, and I didn't take the correct steps to go and live my life, and I just accepted that I was doing nothing. So I'd like sit at home playing video games, never leaving my bedroom in my parents' house, and I'd do that for a year straight. And then I'd find myself in this really depressed state, whereas if I would go out to a nightclub where people were having a lot of fun, I wouldn't understand that they're having fun, and they'd be like, "You have some fun, man," and I'll be like, "Leave me alone. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to be here. I just want to be home. I just want to be home and feel anxious, because I'll be home and I'll feel anxious all the time." So one of the things I found that when I was depressed is you would just always feel anxious. It would be like you would never just not feel anxious, and whenever you didn't feel anxious, it didn't last for very long. But what my advice is, first of all, if you want to get out of it, you need to change what you're doing, because whatever you're doing right now that's making you depressed, by doing the same thing, it's not going to help you. So if you're always in the bedroom of your mum's house, you don't leave, or you're playing a lot of video games, stop doing that. Or if you're with a girl and you keep seeing her and she makes you feel like a piece of shit and you always go back and see her, stop doing that. Cut off what's continuing to make you depressed, and then go and do new shit. Go and do stuff that makes you feel uncomfortable. So one thing I found is when I was really depressed, if I had no time to think about if I was depressed or not, and I was really busy and I was just working on myself, I was going out trying to talk to every girl I saw, I was so nervous about talking to those girls, and I was so nervous about them judging me and rejecting me, I stopped thinking about myself. I stopped thinking about how anxious I was, and it started to change over time. It never fixes overnight, but it will change over time if you put yourself in a situation where you can't think about it. If you can't think about the depression, if you don't have time to think about it because you're doing too much shit, improving yourself, making yourself really uncomfortable, doing stuff you wouldn't normally do, your physiologically start to change and you get out of it. But now I know there's different levels of depression, and some levels of depression can be pretty insane. So I don't know what level of depression I was on, but I was certainly like long-term anxious and like feeling very depressed. But I don't know if I was like clinically depressed, but I know I was feeling very depressed for a very long period of time, but I never went to a doctor to get diagnosed.
Mm-hmm. Well, you're also a logical person. You're not so emotional. You're really intelligent. So one of the things that I've always liked about your channel, oh yeah, of course, man. One of the things I really liked about you is you're really fucking smart. Now, see me, I'm not so smart. I'm kind of emotional.
Okay,
I like to think that I'm fairly intelligent, but then again, I'm also pretty emotional. I do feel my emotions pretty heavily. So when it comes down to it, I had to like kind of make myself a system that worked out, that wasn't so based in who I was previously. So like Bradicus was talking about here, he had to change who he was. He had to change what he was doing. He had to change the way he was like going about doing things. What's up, guys? How's it going? You're chill, man. I know you guys didn't see it. This one yours?
These my fucking boys right here.
Catch you later, man. This one yours? All right. Now with depression, when it comes down to it, for me, I do a lot of different things. I do a lot of different like little tricks. So one of the big tricks that I focus on, so if you're in a place of being really depressed, reframe it. Depression is not bad. It's a strength. It's gonna actually power you through what you're going through. So for me, when it came down to it, it was like so for example, like I'm breaking up with my girl.
100%.
I could be sad. I've been with her for a long time. This is the best girl I've ever dated. We've been so connected. If I was honestly not doing this, it'd probably come to the point where somewhere down the line I'd marry her. Now, however, I can take this as a bad thing. I take this as that thing where it's a soul-destroying thing, where it's gonna victimize me. It's gonna make my world and my life worse. Now, when it comes down to it, you wanna reframe that. That's not the way it is, and that's not the way that you're gonna have the situation work upon you. Focus on what you can control. So what can you control? Let's say you're going through divorce, or let's say you're going through a breakup. What is in your control? You can go out, you can control your emotions, you can reframe your depression. So what is my depression? It's fuel for the fire. It means I'm gonna work my ass off. It means I'm working extra 20 hours a week. It means I'm gonna be out here with Bradicus fucking killing this shit.
Yeah, 100%.
That's depression.
You can't control how the other person feels or treats you, basically. So if it's based around a woman, if she's like treating like a piece of shit, or she flakes you, or if things didn't work out the way they did because of the weather or something, don't let that affect the way you judge yourself or see yourself. Okay,
it's a
guys?
situation.
Right? That's if you're doing that, you're way more likely to be anxious and depressed in your life, because if things will just fuck you up all the time. If you're letting them things do the worst they can possibly do, they will do the worst they can possibly do. But if you don't let things that shouldn't have any power over your emotional soul and your awesomeness as a human being, they won't affect you very much. I mean, they might affect you, but they're going to affect you way less. And you're less likely to, because, and like you said before, seeing depression is something that, I mean, obviously it feels horrible, and in a lot of ways it's not a good thing. You don't want to be there forever, but the positive thing is, if you get out of depression, you actually learn a lot more than someone else would. Someone that wasn't depressed won't understand what you went through. There's a lot of insights you would come through. You would be a lot more emotionally resilient. You'd probably be a lot better at dealing with toxic people. You'd probably be a lot better at empathizing with people that are in the same situation as you. It'll give you a lot of strengths to connect with other people and to see things for what they really are later on down the track. So see it with the light at the end of the tunnel, that if you break out of it, you're going to come out a lot stronger than if you never went through it to begin with.
That's another thing too. See, you are a lot more resilient to depression and bullshit. As Bradicus says, that's actually really powerful. A lot of people will succumb to that depression and they'll almost like victimize it, and like they don't see, like, so most people, the reason they fuck up, like, all right, so everybody has hard shit. Nobody's fucking like going through this world and just like, well, I can imagine there's some like 10 out of 10 model bombshell Barbie looking bitch who's like walking through the world, giving everything, but she's gonna come to a point like 30, 40, 50, she's gonna start falling off.
She still needs to go to the toilet. She still, needs to shower. She still needs to put makeup on.
But ultimately, when it comes down to it, it's like the depression. When it comes down to like, people will victimize the situation, they can't control. They focus on what they can't control instead of what they can control.
Yeah.
If you're depressed, what can you control? And what can't you control? You broken up with? Can you not get back together with your girl? What can you do differently? Can you go out? Can you have fun? Can you change your emotions? Can you reframe things? Can you hit the gym? Can you start focusing on keystone habits that will slowly change your personality, make you a better person, to make you more of a person with an internal locus of control?
There are times, even recently, where I was feeling like a bit anxious, or things were like just getting like, I was becoming numb to everything, and I was like starting to get into a state where I wasn't enjoying things and things were getting really boring. And if it got any worse, it could actually start to get to the next worst stage, which could be depression. So for a lot of guys out there, you can actually stop depression before it even happens, right? You can nip it in the butt. So don't get into depression just to say, hey, I got depressed just so I could come out of it stronger. It doesn't work that way. You don't have a choice. You can't purposely get depressed and then get stronger from it, because if you did it on purpose, it didn't happen naturally. Leave Lima. I was like, okay, I'm leaving Peru, because I was going to stay there for longer, but I'm like, I'm leaving this place, because if I'm going to do it any longer, this is going to become who I am, and it's going to make me a sad, depressed person. That's the way I felt. So I changed the variables before they took into effect of like a habit of who I am. I felt like I could have got depressed from that, personally speaking.
All right, so whenever a lot of people will get depressed, the big factor that I see a lot of times is lack of control in a situation. So it's like I
felt like I had no control anymore. I felt like I wasn't being who I was. I felt like I was just doing it because it wasn't normal. Whatever was happening in that
it's
time,
powerless.
I was kind of powerless, because I didn't have to be amazing to get these goals. I didn't have to do all these cool things. I just had to be there and rock up, and I didn't have to show the emotions I normally do. I didn't have to express myself. So I just felt like I was losing a lot of who I was, and I was powerless to that. And I feel like I was going to grow backwards in some ways. But the fact that I realized that.
All right, so if you're in a place where you're depressed, firstly, like we were just saying, it comes down to like the fact that you're not in control of your world. So focus on what you can control to like firstly start pulling yourself out of it. Now, secondly, you can totally control your emotions, okay? Now, me, I almost feel like heavy in my chest. All right, now I can take this as anxiety, I can take this as depression, I can make this into a bigger thing than it is, or I can like start focusing on what I can control. So I can't control the weight on my chest. I can't control the in-air like depression. However, I can change my emotions. I can control my emotions. I can change the way that I'm doing. I can method act it. So if you guys don't know how I do my videos, how I do these videos, what I do oftentimes will do is I'll act as if. I'll act as if I'm happy. I'll smile. I'll start feeling it in my body. I'll start envisioning myself being happy, and I'll start pushing out the things out of my mind that are depressing. So ultimately it'll help out.
This is something, oh my God, that's a good point. Sorry, thank you for saying that, because the times where I did feel like I got depressed, or was starting to get depressed and things weren't working as well, like my game's not as good anymore, or since I was using Tinder a bit, now my game sucks, and if I let that become a self-fulfilling prophecy and I was like, yeah, I'm shit, I'd pull myself out of that, like, no, I'm a fucking pimp. Look at how much I can express myself in the past. I've done this before. I can do it again. I just need to bring back what made me good before. What made me good before. Okay. I went out. I started being over the top, even if I didn't feel like doing it. I started being really silly, and then I'll do that again, even if I didn't feel comfortable doing it. And all of a sudden I'm doing it, and I remind myself of all the fun experiences I had when I was doing it, because I'm bringing it back up with the emotions, and I see how the girls react again. And I'm like, okay, this is amazing. I'm like, cool, actually I am still that amazing. And you need to pull yourself out of that negative slope that's gonna get you into depressed. So
that's actually how I get in the zone too.
Yeah.
Like when I get in the zone, it's actually, so I focus on my body and acting as if I'm like the same mindset that I have when I'm hitting on a girl. I focus on re-pulling that up. So like over here when we were like hitting on those girls.
Well, I just did a video about why you shouldn't try to get into the zone as well.
I
did a video about that actually.
Oh, did you?
Why you shouldn't try to get into the zone, because this has nothing to do with this video, but the reason I did that video is because a lot of guys that are trying to get into the zone rely on being in the zone to get results, and honestly you can get a lot of results for not being in the zone. So
yeah,
I try to tell people, don't worry about it if you're in the zone or not, but like,
it's not the end all be all.
Being in the zone is really good, but trying to be in the zone actually stops you from being in the zone a lot of the time.
The more you try to force this, like squeezing like a piece of soap, if you do the behaviors and the expressions, you'll get into the zone. But if you're focused about the word zone itself, or the results that you get from the zone, you won't get in the zone. I focused on like almost like, so when I'm like, if I'm in my head, so I was in my head when I first started talking to you. You probably don't know that. All right, so what I was doing. So like, we haven't talked that much up to this point. So what I started doing was I started method acting, started relaxing my body.
I was in the head when I first met you too. So
did you?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah. Well, I focused on looking around, looking people in the eyes. I did things that like my more social, outgoing personality would do generally, and so I just pulled it out of myself. So generally, what you want to do is you want to relax the body, eye contact, smile, good emotions. When you talk to somebody else, you focus on vomiting those good emotions, and you don't fucking need anything else from them. Okay? What you're doing is you're going out there and you're relaxing off the need to anything from them, and you're just using your body to start showing which personality is coming out, and then from doing this personality, you slowly, possibly start getting feedback from the outside world. It's good. If you don't, you keep doing this, you meditate, block it out, you keep going.
I wanted to do a collaboration with him last time I was in Vegas, but it didn't happen because he's got too many girls. He's got a bunch of regulars here in Vegas. He doesn't even have to go out most of his life, because he's got so many girls that want to see him, and they're very good quality girls. So props to him. He's probably getting threesomes. I don't really know, but I shut your mouth, Brad. But it's
under the bus.
It's very different for me because I'm in a city every week, and I'm jealous of him in some ways, because I want these girls around me all the time, and whenever I get all the girls that want to be around me, that are falling in love with me like you're getting, I get slapped in the face by life saying, Brad, you're going to a new city now, and I lose that girl.
Why
so
are you just
I'm
more
kind
like
of jealous.
Denton? Like, why can't you just be more...
I can't stand the same. I'm not allowed to live in the US, so I'm not a US citizen.
All right, now if you guys are really interested in Bradicus is super fucking sick. Now I don't say this just about anybody, okay? This is one of the big fuckers out there, okay? If you guys want to really learn about this kind of stuff, you watch this channel, okay? Now I'm gonna put a link right here, hopefully, unless my editing is pretty shitty up to this point. If it is, it'll be in the description down here, so you guys find that down in that area.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess, cause I've been living wrong.
Yeah, no, dude. Who the fuck is named Tyrone?
Time out. So, white boy?
I'm somewhat normal.
What city are you guys from?
So I'm like somewhat normal.
We're from.
Dude, you guys are pretty sick.
Wait. No. San Fernando. San Fernando.
Hey, what are you doing over there? Why aren't you in the party?
Yes! That's and this is.
Hi.
You don't even know my name.
Hola.
Yes,
Wait, I don't know if you guys are Latinas, I'm just guessing.
Yes, so this is.
Latina.
Sorry, how's it going?
This is your friend. And then?
Huh?
He's right here.
He's dead.
The third one.
He's dead.
He's our friend, the camera guy.
Why?
Wait, what club are you playing tonight?
We
He's our
work together,
cameraman.
business guys. Yeah.
What club are you going tonight?
Still trying to figure out. My friend runs Excess, so I could get a table there tonight if I want.
We're
or
going
tomorrow.
Access.
Wow.
Are you?
On Friday.
I got a table there.
Is Excess open on?
Teo. We're
Yeah.
going to Teo tonight.
That would be good. You guys want
Hakkasan's
something
a
bigger?
big one though.
Hakkasan's good. Thursday though, you guys want to go to Omni's?
Where are you from?
Omni's pretty sick.
Australia.
That one's like, for you ladies, you guys are attractive. Marky and Oscar.
I can spell
Like
contacts.
they'll try like they'll throw
Yes.
tables and drinks left and right.
Sure.
You didn't smell mine.
Smell?
You didn't smell mine.
Dude.
Is that what you said? What did you say?
Nice. She needs
See.
to tell me fuck off her so
You didn't see mine.
He tested me out.
Yeah, but your eyes are dark. I don't think you're wearing contacts.
I'm wearing contacts, so you didn't see mine. So that's a lie.
Okay, I'm not an expert at everything.
Determined that that was a lie.
Must be a dick.
Tyrone the second.
What's your name?
Brad, do they have a baby daddy?
September, August, and December.
So you bought them all when they were born. How old are you then?
After they were born.
How old are you?
Way older than them. Way fucking older than
Well, you're
them.
not married.
I am not married. Fuck no.
Ah,
I got lucky.
what does that mean?
I came really close to one, but I got lucky.
So the deal is, I'm guessing you're with someone but you're not married. Oh, I don't know.
No, I'm single as fuck.
Fair enough.
Are you guys all Spanish?
Where are your kids then?
Hablas español?
They're not literally
You
mine.
also wait up.
They're my brothers. but
That makes sense because I thought that you were like kind of young.
But they might as well. Yeah, I'm not that young, but yeah.
Yo vivo en México para 2 meses.
Your poor
Mi
friend,
abuelo-
he's like dying. He's like murder me. Please
¿Cómo
fucking
estás,
hang me.
Linda?
Don't step on me, baby.
Sí,
My bad.
You literally just stepped on me. My name's not Linda.
My bad, babysitter. Buenas noches. She said Colombia, so you guys Colombian?
I am definitely. We are definitely not. We're Mexican as fuck.
DS.
Colombian? No.
CD. Are you from CDMX?
Like,
Your friend is videoing us.
He's stop being so
I
creepy.
didn't sign a release waiver.
Hey,
Come on.
give us verbal release.
I didn't sign a release
Yeah, but
waiver.
we're not, if we don't use the video for anything, we don't need a release because we're not even doing anything with the
So
video.
what if you fucking use it? I still didn't sign
He,
a release.
I said to him he has to film us today because
Okay.
we're going to do a video over there, so I guess he's just prematurely filming us.
So how is he gonna know to contact us to release authorization?
Dude,
He just has to contact my wife.
None of you guys have been like fucking weird.
In Australia?
I don't have a wife.
Like,
I don't
get
fucking
it,
have a
like,
husband.
You're kind of feeling shy and shit. Talking to strangers.
Oh Lord,
Yeah.
she lives. Mama, I'm literally 10
We're
minutes.
snuggling. We're snuggling,
Literally
okay?
10 minutes
All right,
out
this
of
is
the hotel.
bonding.
Can you let go of Tyrone?
I'm kind of cool.
We're gonna show the world.
It's not a good representation, is it?
That's what social media wants to do.
But I noticed in certain areas it was like that, especially in the rich
So
areas.
like I think Guadalajara and
Everyone talks about Guadalajara. I can't pronounce
Here, let me
it.
do something real quick.
Guadalajara.
Check this out.
Yeah.
what are you, so he's literally your videographer. So he takes
Yeah.
video of you guys. What does he do?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
he's meant to be my assistant.
Your assistant.
Yeah.
Is he not drinking?
Here, show me.
He looks like he's, he's
10
still
out of 10,
fucking,
yes.
look,
10 out
he's
of 10.
holding the camera.
I hope you enjoyed the video. It was a pleasure doing this video nonetheless. Vegas is an amazing place. It was just a pleasure to do this video with you, man.
Thank you, man. All right, I appreciate that. All right, guys, and with that being said, peace out.
I didn't do the Bradicus out. I feel weird.
Oh, you fucked up,
Oh,
man.
fuck! Everyone's gonna unsubscribe from me.
Yeah, I confess, Father, I confess. Cause I've been living wrong, I know I've been blessed. I had 1,000 chances, how many left? I've been sinning lately, what do you suggest? What should I do? I want 999